Folks, here we are almost 24 hours later, and Baltimore officials are still looking for a person or persons responsible for the Tuesday night shooting on the campus of Morgan State University. 5 people were injured in that shooting. Investigators believe there was a dispute between 2 groups when gunfire erupted near a university dorm. At least 3 people were believed to have been armed. 4 men and 1 woman between the ages of 18 and 22 were shot and hospitalized with non-life-threatening wounds. Last night's shooting has the city's mayor laying some responsibility at the feet of Congress. This is what he said, what Mayor Brandon Scott said after he was questioned by a local reporter.
They just ousted their speaker yesterday. It's chaos on Capitol Hill. Why do you believe that these members in Washington, D.C. can address this problem when they're struggling to do the basic functions of government?
Because it's their job, Mackenzie. The same way that the residents of Baltimore City want me to make sure that the police department is actually out there arresting these individuals, and it's up to those individuals who have the power to do something to actually do something.
So what specific legislation are you looking for?
There's a bunch. So I can run the whole list down, and I'll get Brian to send you more. 1, they should ban ghost guns, period. They should remove the immunity for gun manufacturers, period. They should ban assault rifles and magazines, period.
Why can't you and other state leaders push for legislation at the state level to ensure there are tougher penalties for people who shoot and kill other people?
I think that when you look at Maryland's laws around guns and gun violence, we have some of the best in the country, Mackenzie. The guns are coming in from other places, other states. That is why this is a national issue. It's a both and, Mackenzie, not an either or.
Now, Morgan State University President David Wilson released a statement regarding the shooting. He said, "What happened on our campus was such a senseless act of violence perpetrated on our community. It was so disappointing to learn of what took place, especially after what was a family-filled and fun evening of celebrating the pageantry and beauty of our students. But rest assured, our Morgan family is strong, and we will march on with determination to keep moving on." Homecoming is happening this weekend, and I must say, Rebecca, when these things happen, when these shootings happen, and we've seen them happen on other HBCU campuses, on PWI campuses, this is this unfortunate reality of senseless gun violence in this country.
You're right. There is a lot of senseless gun violence in this country. What's especially sad here is that in the last 4 years, the last 4 homecomings, this is the 3rd time that there has been shooting at or near Morgan State during their homecoming. And so I could only imagine that the parents of these students trying to figure out if they feel it's safe to actually send their students back to campus. I can't imagine getting a phone call hearing that my child is locked down in a bathroom and there is a gunman somewhere and that they're uncertain, or even seeing the images that you're showing now of students in their dorm room when they're doing a sweep going from dorm room to dorm room and seeing that there's automatic weapons that are at the door as soon as they open it up for law enforcement to double check to make sure that the students inside are safe and that the gunman isn't inside of any of the dorm rooms. My heart really goes out for a lot of these students. Even think about the mental health. That's a lot for those students. But secondly, I would say that we also need the city of Baltimore to step up to make sure that there is adequate safety around Morgan State's campus. I think about some of the PWIs and think about the levels of security that we do see at some of the PWIs. And I hope at Morgan State that they receive the same level of support from both the mayor as well as, from the city of Baltimore as well as the state of Maryland.
You know, Robert, we often talk about students, but we also got to realize faculty and staff. I know a particular faculty member who texted last night saying, "Hey, I'm good, I'm safe, but I'm not good." When these things happen, I mean, it shakes up not just students.
You're absolutely correct. And to Rebecca's point, this is a question about security on campuses. We have to ensure not just for situations such as this, but just for the safety and security of our students at HBCUs, they should be the most secure areas on earth. This is the next generation of leadership, and we have to protect them just as a mother hen protects her eggs. That's how we need to treat our HBCUs. And we had this happen at Clarkland University many years ago. And if anybody was at the AUC in the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s, you remember how open the entire area was. You walked through one campus to the other. You drove from place to place. You congregated at Stiegel's. You went on down the street, etc. But as we had these outside individuals coming through causing trouble and actually shooting on campus, they had to start closing parts of the campus down, shutting off streets, increasing security patrols, hiring additional police officers. And that was what I believe has to happen in this area, because we have to protect these students at all costs. And I think the national media also does a disservice to these conversations, because once it was reported, at first the media said mass shooting on the college campus, and then it's as if they got a message saying it's just black folks doing black folks stuff, and then it all went away within about an hour. We have to continue having these conversations, not just when it's a white shooter shooting at black people, not just when it's a white police officer shooting at black people. We have to take the safety and security of our students seriously in all situations and provide the type of protections that are needed to secure all these campuses.
Scott?
Yeah, a couple observations. I agree with Robert. I'm a news junkie. The news is on at my house and at my office all the time. I don't remember white media covering this at all. If it was a byline. They didn't show the helicopters circling. They didn't show the police ushering.
Well, I know Fox News took it live last night. Some of the other networks are still talking about Donald Trump. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, it just wasn't the same level. They didn't cover it for 4 to 6 hours. I know there was a lot going on yesterday. But again, this whole issue of gun control and what we're going to do about guns, we are so numb to mass shootings now. Think about this. I always thought, Roland, that once small white children, white students, and white people start getting shot by mass murderers or these mass shootings, that white conservatives on the Hill would cut a deal with the NRA and do something about gun control, something that would stop the killing. We have exchanged tolerance for mass shootings, black people or white people, in exchange for our love of the NRA. Think about that. We have tolerated mass killings and accepted them as a byproduct of our protection of our Second Amendment right and protection and our allegiance to the NRA. Something is really, really wrong with this country, and really, really wrong with those who do that deal. Well, it's a deadly deal, and it just keeps going on over and over again.
Bottom line is, with those kids at Sandy Hook, when they were murdered and they did nothing, they were very clear how they're gonna respond.